Greenlawn Cemetery has long been said by locals to be one of the most haunted spots in the area, even within the state. Located on a quaint hillside just beyond the St. Peter, Minnesota River Valley on County Road 20, this resting place is not only brimming with the history of those who first settled in the area, but as urban legends would have it, it is also a hotspot of paranormal activity. Greenlawn, also known as Traverse Cemetery, is the second oldest cemetery in Minnesota, so it was not at all surprising to learn that many St. Peter locals believe this place to be haunted. We set out to explore the deep history of those buried within the gates of Greenlawn, as well as share the stories of many St. Peter locals who believe they have experienced strange occurrences in this place. We do not have an opinion as to whether or not Greenlawn is haunted. Our aim is to present the historical facts and relay the experiences people have claimed to have while visiting Greenlawn Cemetery. To help us better understand some of the accounts people sent us, we asked our grandparents, Bill and Joan Soderlund, who have dedicated years to researching the genealogy and lineage of many cemeteries worldwide, to contribute their knowledge of those buried at Greenlawn.
Sometimes known as Traverse Cemetery, is the oldest cemetery in this section and the second oldest cemetery in the state. It began in 1853, and there are approximately 160 burials here. They are missionaries, pioneers, and soldiers. Dr. Philander Humphrey came to this area in 1853, and he was a physician to the Lakota. The Lakota did not like him because he had such a violent temper. When the battles began in 1862, he and his wife escaped from New Ulm and headed for Fort Ridgely, which was about 13 miles away, because Mrs. Humphrey had just experienced childbirth. She got tired before they got there, and they came to an abandoned cabin. And doctor took his wife inside, and she laid on the bed, and their two children, Gertrude and Jay, were with her, and he sent his oldest son, John, who was 12, to find some water for his wife. He stood outside the cabin door armed with an axe. And while John was coming back, the Indians attacked the cabin. They shot Dr. Humphreys and cut his head off and killed and burned the people in the cabin. John hid in the bushes, very, very frightened. Reverend Robert Hopkins was a Presbyterian minister, and he and his wife, Agnes, came out to this area in 1843, and with them came Thomas Longley and Mr. and Mrs. Stephen Riggs. They came to bring Jesus to the Lakota people. They were building a cabin. It took them about 6 weeks in 1843. It was very hot in July, and Thomas proposed that they take a swim, and they all went down to the river. Unfortunately, Thomas Longley was drowned. The river was unknown to them, and it was quite high at that time, and he was drowned. The Lakota people said that their river god didn't want the missionaries here, and they took Longley's life. Years later, Robert Hopkins and his wife were preparing in 1853 for the signing of a treaty with the Lakota, and Robert went down to take a swim in the river, and he also drowned, and the Indians repeated their story that the river god did not want the missionaries here.
St. Peter locals have reported eerie experiences while visiting the cemetery. Many people shared with us how the headlights of their vehicles would shut off once inside the cemetery, but would work just fine upon leaving. People said they have felt as though they are being watched or stared at. Probably the most well-known encounter is that of the Petty John headstone. It is said that if you stand within the fence of the plot, you will hear a scream and even in some instances, see a woman in white appear next to you. Another well-known paranormal phenomenon is associated with the Humphrey family. As the story goes, if you visit the Humphrey grave after dark, you will see the mother, Susan, dressed in a light blue gown, crying. A St. Peter local shared this picture with us when she heard we were researching the cemetery. A woman's face is clearly visible in this picture. We have enhanced the size of the image for viewing purposes. This face looks eerily similar to that of Susan Humphrey. We decided to visit the graveyard at night, not expecting to hear, see, or experience much. Roughly 10 minutes into our exploration, however, while discussing the ghostly photograph, something we cannot explain occurred.
They actually got like a lot of responses to this
Yeah.
thing. Of like people had stuff happen.
You should. Did you see the picture, Mo?
What picture?
Oh, he hasn't seen the picture.
What picture? Did you find it?
No, it's someone else's.
No.
I don't want to show it to him while we're out here.
Oh, I'll put. Why not? I want to.
Show it to him.
Is it anything like what we saw?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Okay, we're leaving.
I don't know. Right when you're about to show me the picture too.
Okay, we need to get out here.
It's
and
okay, just one
Dominic,
What?
put the camera on me once. We just heard.
My heart is racing. I'm sorry.
I know,
Dude,
that was...
Listen, we just heard like a yelp, like a scream. I was about to show Melvin a picture that somebody had emailed me.
Don't flip off the star here with the light.
Okay. Just hang on. Shut up, Melvin.
Oh, all right.
We just heard like a yelping or screaming. I'm like totally freaked out. I was just about to show Melvin a picture that somebody had emailed me. I'm like not even making this up. This is so, I think.
We're like holding hands.
We're
right
holding
now,
hands.
So we don't
I'm
lose
so
each other.
scared.
Is the face in the picture the ghost of Susan Humphrey? Was the noise a voice from beyond the grave? Is Greenlawn haunted? We learned a lot about the souls buried here and the urban legends surrounding Greenlawn Cemetery. But at the end of the day, this is a beautiful yet chilling place. We encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments section below.